Heads up, if you get Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, pause everything and view this immediately. Tens of millions of American retirees just discovered some of the most significant updates in many years. And if you're unaware of it yet, you might be missing out on substantial funds. The House and Senate just greenlit landmark legislation that is directly affecting your Social Security payments, SSI checks, and SSDI amounts. And there's much more. Relief funding is flowing out, and certain groups of retirees qualify for payments they're not yet informed about. Could that be you? Here's what's known currently. Payment amounts are shifting, payout calendars are being refreshed, and countless retirees nationwide are already questioning, when does my payment show up? What's the size of my payment? Am I required to take action to get it? We have reviewed every single part of this updated law, so you don't have to. Whether you're 62, 70, or anywhere in the middle, whether you're getting Social Security retirement, SSI, or SSDI, this video explains precisely what this signifies for your finances in straightforward, understandable language. No baffling government terminology, no stalling, because you should understand the reality about your finances. If you'd like every retiree in the nation to hear this significant update, press the like button right now, and let's ensure everyone who requires this learns about it. And thanks for joining us, companions. If this is your debut time joining, you've come to the ideal location. And I'd like you to realize what we'll be discussing now is something that all people getting Social Security, SSI, or SSDI across America must pay attention to. This isn't hype, this isn't overstatement. What Congress has accomplished is authentic, it is meaningful, and it will have a tangible effect on the cash that enters your account or gets delivered to your house. So get settled, relax, and let's examine every single element together, because you deserve to grasp exactly what is shifting with your payments and your money you've earned. Now, before we examine the specifics of what got approved and what it means for you individually, I'd like to spend just a bit of time to point out something. Lots of you have endured an extraordinarily demanding period in terms of money. Food expenses have jumped. Your power bills have gone up. Drugs cost more than they previously did. And for tens of millions of retirees and individuals with disabilities who depend on Social Security as their main or sole income source, every single cent is meaningful in a manner that most lawmakers in DC simply don't comprehend. So when reports like this surface, reports about possible rises, relief checks, and updated legislative action, it is absolutely reasonable to experience a combination of optimism and doubt. I understand, and that's precisely what brings us here right now. To get past all the clutter, present the information simply, and enable you to grasp what this genuinely means for your circumstances. So, let's begin at the beginning. Congress has faced intense demands for an extended time frame now from advocacy groups, from older adult groups, from rights activists, for individuals with disabilities, and in truth from tens of millions of everyday citizens who have sent communications, made calls, and participated in community forums demanding change. The expense of day-to-day living has been straining individuals on set amounts for quite some time, and demands for financial help have intensified with every calendar month. And currently, following extensive discussions, settlements, and pushback from various sides, a new regulation has passed through Congress and has become law, and what exists within this regulation will be tremendously significant to you. Let's begin with Social Security, because that is what most of our people here depend on. The updated regulation has language that immediately impacts how Social Security payments are determined and modified. Among the most significant parts of this legislation concerns something known as the Cost of Living Adjustment, or COLA. Now, the majority of you currently grasp what COLA represents. It is the yearly change given to Social Security payments to try to match inflation. But here's the difficulty that tens of millions of retirees have been expressing about for many years. The way COLA is computed hasn't genuinely represented the genuine expenses that older folks face on a regular basis. The present approach relies on something named the CPIW, which looks at how city payroll and secretarial employees spend their money. Here's the matter. That's not you. That's not the regular Social Security recipient. Older folks use a much bigger share of their funds on medical treatment, on medicines, on housing, and on meals. And these costs have been increasing quicker than the standard rate of inflation for quite some time. What this updated regulation accomplishes is make important moves toward fixing that serious problem. The regulation contains wording that guides toward revamping how these modifications are determined, with a heightened concentration on the genuine spending habits of adults 62 and older. This is something groups like the Senior Citizens Association and AARP have been fighting for many, many years. And although the complete change to a fresh approach does not take place right away, the tendency is evident and the meaning is unmistakable. Your payments should match your genuine expenses, not the expenses of a 35-year-old employee working in a downtown workspace. But this is just one element of what got approved. Let's discuss something that has been producing substantial amounts of conversation and enthusiasm. Inside our neighborhood, the relief payments. Now, I recognize that term relief brings recollections of the epidemic year's monetary payments that were distributed in 2020 and 2021, and several of you are likely pondering if this resembles that. Well, here's what you want to recognize. These payments are concentrated, which indicates they are specifically focused to get to individuals who are on set amounts and who have been most intensely struck by inflation and growing expenses. And Social Security recipients, SSI recipients, and SSDI recipients are directly in the target of who this support is planned for. The ways these payments will be designed and handed out are critical to grasp. So let's examine them thoroughly. For individuals currently obtaining Social Security retirement payments, the payment is created to act as an extra support measure beyond your consistent monthly payment. The Social Security Agency, which is the entity in charge of giving out these payments, will be applying the records they currently hold for you. In the majority of cases, you won't need to perform anything to obtain this payment. If you are currently enrolled in automatic transfer, which virtually all Social Security recipients are, the funds will move immediately into the equivalent financial institution account, where your consistent payment arrives. If you get a mailed check will be delivered and sent to your location currently listed. Now, for individuals on SSI supplemental security income, there are specific facts to comprehend. SSI recipients rank among the most monetarily vulnerable residents in America. Lots of you obtain SSI because you are older, with very limited income and assets, or because you have a medical condition that limits you from employment, and you do not possess adequate employment history to get regular Social Security. The updated regulation specifically incorporates language to guarantee that SSI recipients are not abandoned. The payment ranges for SSI recipients are being created to account for the reduced standard payment rates that SSI distributes in relation to standard Social Security retirement, so the support is fitting and significant. For SSDI recipients, which is Social Security disability income, the circumstances are equally critical. Tens of millions of citizens are on SSDI because they got disabled before attaining pension age and are unable to continue functioning. Lots of these residents are managing constrained income levels, dealing with healthcare outlays, and handling situations that create each day very difficult. The regulation recognizes SSDI recipients as a primary set for assistance, and the payment scheme mirrors that. If you are obtaining SSDI, you should be expecting communications from the Social Security Agency across the following weeks. They'll be sending out written notices and via your web-based My Social Security profile, if you have one established. Mentioning the My Social Security web-based account, if you haven't started one yet, I'd like to powerfully suggest you establish one. Head to ssa.gov and look for the choice to establish a My Social Security profile. It's at no charge, it's encrypted, and it provides you immediate connection to your payment records, your payout background, and any written notices or revised information that the SSA distributes specifically to your account. In a time frame like this, when major shifts are being implemented, maintaining that immediate connection with the SSA is genuinely helpful. And if you don't feel confident managing it yourself, contact a trusted household member, a buddy, or perhaps your public library. Lots of libraries employ workers who can support retirees in starting web-based profiles safely. Now let's talk about something that I'm aware lots of folks are thinking about, and that's the concern of levies. Specifically, will these relief payments be levied? And this is a truly critical concern, because for many retirees, also a modest rise in revenue can shift you into a different situation concerning the size of your Social Security that becomes subject to national earnings tax. According to existing regulations, if your overall revenue surpasses particular limits, up to 85% of your Social Security can be levied. The limits are comparatively small and have not been modified in many years, which results in additional retirees getting affected by this over the past few years, even though they aren't loaded by any fair description. The wonderful thing, per the regulatory language that's been looked at, is that these focused support payments are arranged in a means that shouldn't be counted as standard levied revenue in the standard sense. However, and I want to be absolutely certain right here, you must absolutely get direction from a money specialist or contact the earnings authority directly to confirm the way these payments will be categorized on your unique earnings picture. Don't just trust what you view on the internet, even from this feed. Get individualized guidance from someone who is familiar with your whole cash position. Now let's examine one more element of this regulation that has not been getting quite as much media coverage, but is honestly just as vital, and that's the adjustments being created to the income ceiling for individuals who are between 62 and complete pension age and continue to be functioning while obtaining Social Security. Following the prior guidelines, if you were obtaining Social Security before attaining your complete pension age and you were still functioning, your payments might be temporarily lowered if your income went over a specific limit. For a number of retirees who are doing freelance labor to increase their Social Security funds, this has been a genuine cash problem. The updated regulation expands that income ceiling substantially, which indicates you're able to gain additional funds from labor without getting your Social Security payment lowered. This is genuinely significant for the portion of our viewers who are in that circumstance. If you're 63, 64, 65 years old, getting Social Security, but also doing a freelance job to get by, you currently possess substantially extra freedom. You're able to gain additional funds, maintain additional of your payment, and not worry about unintentionally causing a lessening. And as we're discussing the matter of functioning retirees, the regulation additionally has language that advances safeguards against years-based employment discrimination. Now, you might be considering, what's the relationship between employment discrimination and Social Security and relief checks? And the response is significant, because economic stability for retirees isn't simply regarding the payments that arrive from authorities. It's regarding the capability to remain engaged, functioning, and making earnings if you decide to and have the ability to. Advancing safeguards for seasoned laborers indicates that if you're 68 and you desire to labor, your company cannot remove you basically because of the quantity of years you've lived. This kind of stability gives individuals alternatives, and alternatives result in improved cash results. Let's currently focus some effort on explaining what this indicates specifically for citizens with disabilities. The individuals with disabilities sector in the country has been striving for awareness and value for an extremely lengthy duration, and the SSDI elements in this updated regulation mark a big recognition of the distinct struggles that individuals with disabilities face in the nation. Among the most significant adjustments concerns something termed the Meaningful Earning Level, or SGA. The SGA is the earnings you're able to generate from labor monthly prior to the Social Security Agency believes you're no more unfit for payment reasons. When you generate past the SGA amount, your SSDI payments might be halted. For quite some time, this amount has remained inadequate, and it has resulted in a case where citizens with disabilities who desire to try functioning, even partially, even in a restricted manner, are apprehensive about losing their payments if they generate simply a bit too much. The updated regulation expands the SGA amount meaningfully, allowing SSDI recipients further liberty to check out employment chances, be active in their communities, and increase their earnings without the unending worry of having their medical, insurance, and disability payments revoked. This is crucial for individuals experiencing illnesses such as MS, lupus, center concerns, sugar issues, associated issues, and brain health situations. Folks who might have some capability to function on their better moments, but cannot do ongoing full-time functioning. Giving these folks more freedom is just not simply money-smart regulation. It is compassionate regulation, and it indicates a growing comprehension in Congress that the old fixed guidelines were creating genuine destruction to genuine folks. Now, I additionally desire to spend a couple of minutes on something that impacts an enormous quantity of our viewers, and that's the link of healthcare coverage and Social Security. Like many of you realize, if you're getting Social Security and additionally subscribed in Healthcare Coverage Area B, which handles your healthcare professional consultations and medical facility treatment, your Healthcare Coverage Area B expense is typically deducted immediately from your Social Security payment. And for many retirees, whenever the healthcare payment goes higher each year, it may consume virtually all or the complete COLA modification, leaving you with close to nothing to no genuine modification in your complete payment. This occurrence has been called the security measure situation, and it has upset retirees and supporters for a very long time. The updated regulation has language intended to build a stronger obstacle between healthcare cost adjustments and Social Security payment adjustments, so that a modification in healthcare expenses cannot fully eliminate a living cost modification. This indicates that when your COLA modification is released, you're far more probable to observe that cash demonstrated in your consistent paycheck, as opposed to watching it go away into a greater healthcare expense. I additionally want to cover some of the concerns we have gotten regarding healthcare medicine negotiation, because this connects immediately to the earnings stability of retirees and citizens with disabilities. Lots of you're coping with the heavy financial weight of drugs. You're likely dividing pills, omitting doses, or creating difficult decisions between getting drugs and getting meals. The updated regulation expands former actions to more increase the authority's capability to bargain medicine costs immediately with medication suppliers. This is vital. When healthcare negotiates rates, the financial gains move instantly to clients subscribed in healthcare medication part, your drug insurance. The portion of medicines that are currently open to negotiation has grown, and the financial gains for customers are projected to be important, notably for some of the most frequently applied medicines in retirees and citizens with disabilities, such as drugs for center concerns, sugar concerns, and resistant illnesses. Let's additionally cover something that isn't mentioned plenty, and that's the earnings influence of assistance on retirees and their households. Millions of more mature residents aren't simply managing their own earnings. They're additionally assisting to finance grown kids, young grandkids, or different relatives. And on the flip part, millions of retirees are themselves getting assistance from household members who have stepped back from work or decreased their labor to deliver that assistance. The updated regulation has limited but genuine language to assist relatives who give assistance, such as language that enables specific intervals of non-paid assistance to be counted in the Social Security payment formula. This is notably vital for females who have typically carried out the greater part of assistance duties and have thus ended up with decreased Social Security payments, due to the fact that those assistance intervals were not mirrored in their labor background. Every action toward counting assistance is a positive motion, and groups wish it will be increased in following actions. Now, I desire to be truthful with you about something because I feel you are entitled to clearness above everything. Not all components of this regulation are flawless. There are elements that groups desired to see added that didn't make it in the ultimate version. There are payment modifications that several groups believed must have been expanded. There are folks in particular situations, particularly certain kinds of foreign citizen inhabitants, some kinds of state workers in certain areas, and persons in particular shift scenarios with their payments, who might not be completely protected by each element of this regulation. The governmental procedure is complicated and faulty, and adjustments are made. What was approved is genuinely important and demonstrates actual growth, but it isn't the ultimate objective. Groups are currently getting ready for the coming governmental effort, and your participation, your notes, your calls, your selections will persist to be tremendously significant in deciding what comes following. For individuals asking specifically about schedule, when arrive the payments? When do the shifts take place? Here's what we're aware of per the setup direction that has been shared. The Social Security Agency has been instructed to conduct the shifts on a hurried calendar. The extra payments are predicted to commence distributing in just the following couple of months for individuals who are using automatic transfer, followed by mailed checks on a phased rate shortly after. The payment computation shifts and modifications to the wage caps and SGA measures will take place at the start of the subsequent applicable profit duration, and the SSA is functioning to change its applications accordingly. Written updates will be sent out to people detailing the precise shifts to their personal payments and what to be expecting. Should you not get a payment or a written update inside the projected schedule, the greatest option is to contact the Social Security Agency immediately. Their key national toll-free contact is 1-800-772-1113, and for voice telephone users, it's 1-800-325-078. They're reachable Monday to Friday from 8 Onningenges in the early morning to 7 HANU in the nighttime Eastern time frame. You're able to also come to your neighborhood Social Security site in individual, if that's less complicated for you. And I realize for several of our individuals, conversing with someone directly is considerably less difficult than conducting matters internet-based or using a call. Both options are presented to you, and the SSA workers are present to support you grasp your distinct situation. One last thing I want to cover ahead of we finish, and that's the matter of criminal activity. Companions, anytime reports like this emerge, reports regarding relief payments, reports regarding payment shifts, reports regarding payments getting delivered, the bad actors show up in abundance. They consider retirees as subjects. They'll contact your line claiming to be from the Social Security Agency and tell you that you must confirm your records to obtain your payment. They'll transmit written communications with hyperlinks requesting you to select and offer your Social Security contact info and financial institution specifics. They'll potentially even show up at your entry in several cases. Hear me strongly on this. The Social Security Agency will not contact you and ask for your Social Security contact info by telephone. They will not request you to deliver a price to get your payments. They will not demand that you verify your financial institution records by clicking a hyperlink in a written communication. Should you get any discussion like that, end the contact, get rid of it, and if you wish to verify regarding the standing of your payments, ring the legitimate SSA contact personally or go to SSA Gov straight by entering it into your web explorer. And kindly pass along this notice to your companions and household. Bad actors are waiting for folks to be thrilled about arriving revenue and dropping their watchfulness. Don't enable that to occur. The essential message currently, companions, is this. Congress has received the concerns of tens of millions of retirees and citizens with disabilities. And while the endeavor for complete financial stability and value in pension and disability is much away from finished, what has just been approved shows genuine concrete support that is coming your path, no matter if you're obtaining Social Security retirement, SSI or SSDI, no matter if you're 65 or 85, no matter if you're in an urban area or a distant countryside. These shifts are created with you in thoughts. Tell Georgie, payments are heading to improved match the genuine expenses you're managing. Your deposits are heading to have added support. Your chance to function without penalty is getting increased, and your drug expenses are heading to be handled with more intensity than previously. These are definitely not insignificant actions. These are significant moves toward the category of financial stability and value that all residents who have put in effort to the state across a full era of labor and assistance unquestionably deserve. We'll carry on to provide you with information as the rollout advances, as payment schedules are confirmed, and as any updated changes surface from the nation's center. This is an active progression, and we will remain on top of each and every change for you, because that's what we exist for. You're not by yourself in figuring this out. You possess this group, you possess one another, and you have this feed committed to delivering you the facts, the information, and the genuine advice that enables you to get the greatest benefit from all the revenue you have arriving to you. Thanks greatly for investing this moment with us right now. Take care of your wellness, keep watch over your companions, and we'll connect in the following entry.